Welcome back, students, to another edition of the Educational Numismatist. For those of you that have followed me for any length of time, you know that I do regular streams on Whatnot. And one of the things that I get complimented on when I do my streams is the fact that I have a multiple camera setup. I have the ability to show overhead everything that's going on. I have the ability to go out to a website and take a reference there as needed. But just as importantly, I have a digital high definition microscope that I have the ability to switch to that will autofocus and help me show a coin in all its true glory. Now, why does that become important? Well, we have all had the experience where you go to a website and you see a coin and it looks okay, but when you get it home, it doesn't look anything like that. Now, I'm not putting this seller down. This looks like a nice roll, and honestly, that's not a bad looking coin. But again, do we really know? No, we have no idea. When we are looking at a roll of coins like you see on the table in front of you, in fact, I have not one but two of these rolls of 1985 Libertads. Now, it looks nice, it's shiny, it's pretty, but until I take it out of the roll and actually examine the coin in detail, you have no idea what any individual coin looks like. All right, so let's go back to a perfect example. For those of you that were in my stream last Saturday, you saw me open a very similar roll to that one, but it was 1983 Libertads. And somewhere down the stack, we ran into this little beauty. And even as it was sitting on the table, literally just like that, I could see from my perspective just how beautiful that coin was. But then the challenge becomes this: how do you truly showcase a coin that looks this nice? Well, it's not easy. You try using a couple of different angles. Maybe you angle it into a different light source to show some stuff. But see, here's the problem. Most online sellers, particularly live online sellers, have one camera or use one phone and don't really understand lighting. Well, a little bit of history. For me, I was actually a photographer for some amount of time before I started doing this on a more regular basis. And when I was doing my photography and portraits, I was using light and angles and shadow to hide flaws. None of my models, none of the subjects that posed for me wanted me to bring out their flaws. They wanted me to minimize them, or in some cases, even eliminate them in post. Well, I am able to use that knowledge of lighting, cameras, angles, and everything else to now do the opposite. I am here to shed light on the flaws. I want you to see the coin the way I can see it up close and personal in my hand, just like this. Now, how do we go about doing that? Well, as I have shown you, I can show the coin off very nicely just like this. But as you see right over here on my right, I have this beautiful little microscope. So I can put this coin right here on the microscope and switch over to that view, and you can see that that is a very pretty coin. And as I was explaining, you can see some beautiful toning down here at the bottom. You can see a little bit of it up here at the top. You don't really see too many flaws. There is that little milk spot at the top. There's something little going on there. Maybe there's a very small hairline scratch over there, maybe another one up here. But otherwise, you're seeing a couple of small little things, but you're not still really truly seeing that coin. What do I mean? Well, watch this. All I have to do is turn up some side lighting, and now you're able to see just how rich and beautiful some of this toning is. And you can see that it's going all the way up the rim here. What else are you able to see? Well, you're starting to see a couple of little imperfections, a couple of little scratches. But again, this does not give you the full view of the coin. Watch this. Now, I am able to show you that there's a couple of small little imperfections over here. We've got a little small hairline there. We've got some surface rubs and scuffs on her body. One on her thigh, another one on her shin. We've got a little bit of a scrape down here by her foot. A couple more hairlines down here. But look at the beautiful tones and colors all the way through this coin. Look at this. We've even got a little bit of a rubbing on the wing up there. But look at the colors down here. Look at how gorgeous that overall tone is. Now, compare that to this, or to this. Again, that's a beautiful image. But is that the image you want to see when you're ready to make a big purchase? Or is that the image you want to see when you're ready to make a big purchase? You know, again, the vast majority of the people on the various platforms are not intentionally trying to deceive you. They will display their coins to the best of their ability, the way their camera and their lighting setup and their knowledge of the technology to put it all together will allow them to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. We all start somewhere. I started somewhere. When I started, I had no idea what OBS was. I didn't know what VB cable was. I had no idea what a stream deck was. But I did know photography. I did know lighting. I did know to buy a good web camera and put good lighting on my subject. Now I'm at a point where this is what my workspace looks like. I have a camera in front of me. I have a camera above me. I've got my microscope. I've got my website capability. I've got the ability to switch between various cameras. So when you are looking to make a purchase online, do you want to purchase from somebody who makes a coin look like that? Or from someone who can show you a coin in this kind of detail where you can truly get a comfort level that, yep, I know what that coin looks like, because look at this. We got a little bit up here. We got a very small little nick there. Other than that, I am not seeing a lot that I don't like about this coin. A very faint little hairline right there. Another little scuff there. But otherwise, that is such a pretty coin. And honestly, the obverse, which this is not the advantage. That's not the draw for this coin, gang. This is right here. Not only is this a beautiful 1983 Libertad, which have a limited mintage to begin with, but you won't find many that have such beautiful toning as this. So, in closing, if you think that this has been helpful to you, if you would rather make a purchase from somebody who has the ability to do something like this and open a roll of Libertads and show you every single coin to that level of detail, well, then you're in the right place. Subscribe to my channel, like this video, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos, and please run over to Whatnot, follow me over there, and bookmark some of my upcoming shows. This weekend, this Saturday, as you can see, not only do I have the 2 rolls of 1985 Libertads, but I've got these little beauties. These are 1982 first-year Libertads, and these are from Blanchard and Company. And for those that don't know, Blanchard and Company was very significant in the early years of making Libertads popular in the U.S. In fact, I have a video talking about the Blanchard Libertad tubes because I had previously opened a tube of 1983 Blanchard Libertads, and they were absolutely gorgeous. They lived up to their reputation as being, very selective in the coins that they would put into their rolls. So if you enjoy high-end, rare coins, I've got not one but 2 Blanchard rolls, not one but 2 1985 rolls We are loaded for libertads, and not to overstate it, but I've even still got this one. So, subscribe, follow me on Whatnot, and I can't wait to see you at my next auction.